In the year 1906, no nation on Earth could challenge the British Navy.
That year, a revolutionary new ship, HMS Dreadnought, was deployed by the British for the first time. So revolutionary was this new design that all pre-Dreadnought ships were rendered obsolete. Wait a minute, let's hear that again. So revolutionary is this new warship that all pre-Dreadnought ships were rendered obsolete? That didn't just mean that the navies of France, Russia, Germany, the US, and Japan were useless, but that Britain's entire navy was useless. Germany was the first to realize that if they had more dreadnoughts than the British, then they controlled the sea.
If I have all the dreadnoughts, then I control the sea.
Now that the British Navy no longer had the advantage of numbers, the Germans had a chance to outcompete.
What ensued was a full-on naval arms race, as both sides rushed to build stronger dreadnoughts than the other. Wait, what was this video about? Oh, right. So Europe looks like this in 1914.
The Central Powers were made up of Germany and Austria.
France, the United Kingdom, and Russia make up the Entente, or Allied powers.
But where do you think Germany's most important front was? Perhaps in the Baltics, battling Russia? Or maybe in France, as the Germans rushed to take Paris? Well, what if I told you it was up here?
So the North Sea is split between two main entrances. The most popular entrance is the English Channel, down south, while the second entrance is up north by Scotland.
Now, this is Germany's only access to the sea. Do you know what makes this a big deal? Britain had complete control of those waterways.
This meant that, in a time of war, Britain could completely cut off Germany from the rest of the world. And cut off Germany they did.
Starting in 1914, the British Navy formed a massive blockade around the North Sea, sinking any German ship that tried to cross.
Germany already had relatively few natural resources and depended mostly on importing foreign resources to keep its industry afloat. And now the British were cutting them off from the world's trade? That was unacceptable. Remember when I told you about the German Navy rising to the strength of the Royal Navy?
Well, that wasn't entirely true. While they did have many dreadnoughts, they did not have enough to openly challenge the British.
That's where Admiral Reinhard Scheer comes in. Scheer knew that the German Navy couldn't engage the Royal Navy in open combat. So his plan was to make the Royal Navy split up into itty-bitty pieces so the German fleet could pick them off one by one. On May 31st, 1916, he got his chance. German Vice Admiral Hipper was assigned a relatively lightly armed fleet of 5 battle cruisers and 35 support ships. Admiral Hipper's task was to find a British fleet and lure them towards the German coast. There, Admiral Scheer waited with the High Seas Fleet, composed of 16 dreadnoughts, 6 pre-dreadnoughts, and 37 support ships. I'm telling you, man, the plan, it's completely flawless. Well, here's how it went. At 10:30, the British Grand Fleet in Scapa Flow receives news that the German fleet has left port. The Grand Fleet, commanded by Admiral Jellicoe, had a whopping 28 dreadnoughts. At 11, Beatty's battlecruiser fleet left port from around Edinburgh.
Beatty's battlecruiser fleet had 9 dreadnoughts and 21 ships. Keep in mind that the smaller battlecruiser fleet is miles ahead of Jellicoe's Grand Fleet.
At 3 a.m., the German fleets leave port. At 3 p.m. the next day, Beatty spots Hipper's fleet and gives chase. Hipper is leading Beatty straight to the High Seas Fleet, where he'll be destroyed.
During the chase, the dreadnoughts clash. At 4 p.m., HMS Indefatigable is destroyed. 1,000 British killed. At 4:26 p.m., HMS Queen Mary is blown in half. 1,200 British are killed.
Beatty reportedly says to his flag captain,
"There seems to be something wrong with our bloody ships today." And then, at the very last second before Admiral Scheer springs the trap,
Beatty spots the High Seas Fleet and retreats north. Now, Scheer and Hipper give chase, but it's their turn to be caught in the trap. As Scheer and Hipper emerge from the fog, they are met with the entire British Grand Fleet before them. At 6:30 p.m., the British engage the German fleet. Shortly after, HMS Invincible is hit and explodes, 1,000 British killed, including Admiral Hood. Despite heavy British losses, the Germans are losing. 7:22 p.m. Scheer orders a massive torpedo attack. While no British ships are hit, it buys time for the Germans to retreat. The Battle of Jutland is over. In the end, the British lost twice as much as the Germans did, but they managed to still end up victorious. For the rest of the war, the German Navy would never again challenge the British.